Welcome back everyone, Patrick here, and moving on to the next question. So Sarah got 78% on a test where each question was worth 1 mark. If she got 33 questions incorrect, how many more correct questions did she answer than incorrect ones? So this one's not too bad, but it's a little bit tricky. You got to be careful with the wording. So let's say that we have a test with a certain amount of questions, and if you get all the questions correct, you would get 100%. However, Sarah got 78% on the test, meaning that she answered, because each question was worth 1 mark, she answered 78% of the total questions correctly. Okay, so if there were 100 marks on the test, then she answered 78 questions correctly. Or if there were 200 questions on the test, then that would mean that she answered 156 questions correctly, right? 156 of 200 is 78%. So if she answered 78% correctly, it means that she answered 22% incorrectly. Right? 78% she answered correctly, 22% she answered incorrectly. And we're also told that the number of incorrect questions was 33 questions. And so given this information, notice that we can figure out whatever we want here. We could figure out the number of correct questions, which we're going to have to get because we have to see how many more correct questions were there than incorrect questions. We're going to have to take the difference between these two. And so if we have this information, what we could do is we could find the total number of questions, and then from the total number of questions, we could find the number of correct questions. So notice that the total number of questions, we know that 22% of that is going to be 33, right? Because Sarah answered 22% of the questions incorrectly, and 33 questions were answered incorrectly. So the total number of questions times 0.22, 22% of the total amount of questions, is 33 questions. And so we could solve for the total questions by taking 33 and dividing it by 0.22, right? To bring this over, because we're multiplying here, we would divide both sides by 0.22. So then the total questions would get isolated. And so from here, 33 divided by 0.22 would give us 150. So in total, there is 150 questions. And if there's 150 questions, then we can get the number of correct questions. So the number of correct, not the percentage of correct questions, because we already know that it's 78%, the number of correct questions would be the total number of questions, which we just solved for, which was 150, times 0.78, 78% of that. So it would be 150 times 0.78, which would end up giving us 117. So that's the number of correct questions. So that would be over here. So out of 150 questions, she answered 117 questions correctly, right? 117 of 150 is 78%. And they're asking us how many more correct questions did she answer than incorrect ones. So if you read that carefully, what they're asking for is this difference here. So the difference would be 117 minus 33, which would give us 84. So she answered 84 more questions correctly than incorrect questions, and that's the final answer.